Hey kids, this is Mr. Woolsworth. I'm here with my friend, Mr. Mr. Cotton. Oh yeah, Mr. Cotton. Mr. Cotton, would you help me, open up the Bible today? Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna have to fire Mr. Woolsworth and Mr. Cotton again. Thought if I hired two of them, they'd be able to get the job done, but I guess not. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so today what we're doing is we're going to look at my passage again, and we're going to go on to the last part of our project where we will be doing two things. We will first be interpreting your passage, and then we'll be applying the passage. So interpreting means you give an informed, I don't want to say opinion, but an informed idea, and then you support that idea with facts from the text. And so that is very different than your application. In your application, you're applying the text to your life or to the world, and I'll show you more about what that looks like. Today where I am is I'm at my my wife's family's house, and in fact, if you want to pan around, you can kind of give a background of, look, you guys made it into YouTube, yay, you're superstars, you love that, I'm sure. There's some noisy kids over there playing dodgeball or something, I don't know. But yeah, so we're here, we came here right away after church, so I wanted to get this video uploaded and taken care of, so that's where we are right now. Anyway, so Carolyn, if you actually want to come up and around me, Lauren, I'm gonna have to get you to. So right now I'm using one of my sister-in-law's computer, and I'm actually using my other sister-in-law's phone. So welcome to YouTube.
Thanks.
This is what it feels like. Anyway, okay. So look here. And if you can hear me over the noisy kids, you'll see there's two parts to this. On the top it says interpretation and application. And I'll be sharing this with you just like I did in the last section. And this first part is interpretation. So that has to come first before your application. In the interpretation, you're asking, what is the main idea? What's the main thing the author is trying to say? Not what you think, what do you think the author is trying to say? After that, you're going to walk through each verse or groups of verses, so I'll show you kind of what that looks like. And you're going to explain what the author is saying, and then I want you to write a few words that you learned about in your word study, and what are some interesting or important facts that support the main idea. So I'm going to do this, so I'm going to space out, and I'm going to do this for Ephesians chapter 2. Now you're all familiar with this study Bible that I showed you last time. But my mother-in-law also let me use this one as well, and this one's a lot easier to read, and so I'd suggest maybe if you'd want, you could start with this one, and then if you want more information, you could go to this one. So I'm going to be using the ESV to start off here, and of course, as you all know, I'm doing Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10, and I'm going to show what this looks like just for the first 4 verses. And so first I'm going to give my interpretation of these verses. So I'm going to read the text again. Okay, read it. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to look for where it's talking about. So here it says Ephesians 1 through 3. And this is going to kind of give you an idea of how to interpret it and how to talk about it in each section. So I already know that the main idea behind this passage is that we were dead and Christ has brought us alive in Christ. So I'm going to write that right here. So on this tab, I can't see over Carolyn. The main idea of this passage is that Christ, not Christa, Christ has made us alive in Christ, though we were once spiritually dead. Okay, correct that spelling. Not the best speller. So I did that, right? That's one sentence. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each verse, right? And so verses 1 through 2 say you are dead. So I'm going to say here so it says right here you were dead in your trespasses. So remember we read that a few weeks ago. So back here at the beginning, that's a good way to start. At the beginning, it says that we were dead in our trespasses. Something interesting that I learned is that Paul includes himself. So Paul, the author, is saying that everyone was dead and we were not caring or thinking about God. So just by doing this, I have already summarized the first 2 verses. So you see, it's not necessarily verse by verse, but it's every 2 or 3 verses summarize what the author is saying. In this case, it's Paul. However, so for some of you, it might be it might be John, or it might be unknown. You might not know. You might just have to say the author is saying that everyone, that might happen. And so another thing you could say after this, you could talk about a word you learned. The NIV uses the word trespasses, which means an offense to God. And that's something that I learned in my word study. So I include all that information, and then what I'm going to do is I can say after that, so give those transition words. After that, blah, 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 blah. Next, blah, 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 blah. And you might end up having to go to another paragraph. Say, for example, if I just did verses 1 through 4, and then I wanted to do another paragraph for verses 4 through 10. Because when it says, but God, that's kind of a different portion. Because then you can say, back here, you could say, in the next section. So I'm talking about a different portion of the text, so that might be another paragraph, okay? And then blah, 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 of course. I don't need to waste your time watching that. So now let's go on to the next section. Now you can see how this top section, you're not talking about yourself. You're talking only about the passage. You're talking only about what the author is saying, okay? You're not talking about yourself. In the application, there is a part where you are talking about yourself. See right here, I gave you questions that you should answer. So here it says, how and why is this important in your life? So I could say, this passage is important to me because it teaches me that Christ and His grace is the only thing I need to be reconciled or made right with God. Okay? And then I can talk maybe a little bit more about what this passage means to me and why it's important. I'm sure you'll do fine with that. Notice here's another question. How and why is this important for our church? So why might this passage be important to our church? And here, then I can maybe start a new paragraph. I could say, this passage is important to our church because it reminds us that we are not saved by our works, but it is through God's grace given to us as dead sinners. No one is better than anyone else. Okay? So that would be an application that I could have for our whole church. So I want you to be thinking about that, because this, as I have said before, is not only going to you. This is something that you'll be given to the entire church, and we'll be making it into a poster. And so with that, you can face the camera back on me. we would be all done with this. So at this point, next week, you will start putting this into your poster, and then the week after that, it'll be a work day. And did you see that? The wind just blew my paper. Come on, guys, can you put that back into place? They can't. You guys, they're puppets. They don't do anything. There's socks on my hands. They can't talk. It's only me. My mother-in-law thinks I'm funny. Anyway, so if you guys have questions as we work on this, let me know. The major difference is that you see between that loud truck, so unnecessary. You have to do an interpretation and an application. Interpretation, tell us what it's about. Application, apply it to your life and the church. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. See ya.